True defeat is not found in external failure, but in the moment we decide to surrender internally. It is not the loss of a battle that defines us, it is the loss of our belief in ourselves and our mission. When we shift our mindset from seeing challenges as insurmountable to seeing them as opportunities to evolve, we realize that the circumstances we face do not dictate our success, our response to them does. History and human experience have shown that resilience is the single most important factor in overcoming adversity. If we look at those who have achieved greatness, we will see a common thread. They refused to accept defeat as final. The difference between those who rise and those who remain stagnant is not intelligence, talent, or luck. It is the refusal to quit when faced with obstacles. The greatest leaders, thinkers, and creators were not born with an immunity to failure. Rather, they developed a mindset that allowed them to persist through it. The ancient Stoics believed that external events have no true power over us, only our perception of them does. A setback, then, is not inherently good or bad. It is our interpretation of it that shapes our experience. If we allow failure to define us, we become its prisoner. But if we choose to see failure as a lesson, as a stepping stone, we reclaim our power. This is why defeat is only real if we accept it. Imagine an athlete training for years, only to lose in the final seconds of a championship game. That moment of loss does not make them a failure. What happens next does. Do they allow that moment to consume them, to define their career, to strip them of their drive? Or do they use it as fuel to come back stronger, wiser, and more prepared? The answer to this question determines whether they have truly been defeated. This mindset applies to all areas of life. Entrepreneurs face setbacks daily. Failed ideas, rejected proposals, financial losses. Many give up after a major failure, believing that they are simply not cut out for success. But those who go on to build lasting legacies are the ones who see failure as a refining process rather than a sign to quit. Every loss contains data. Every misstep reveals something about what does not work, pushing us closer to discovering what does. When we approach challenges with this mindset, we understand that failure is not an endpoint, but a redirection. Even in personal struggles, this philosophy holds true. Relationships end, plans unravel, dreams are delayed. It is easy to see these moments as evidence that we are unworthy or incapable, but resilience teaches us that these experiences do not diminish our value, they refine it. The moment we internalize failure as personal, we allow it to defeat us. But when we understand that failure is external, something that happens, not something we are, we take control of our own narrative. Adversity is inevitable, but defeat is a choice. The world does not hand out victories freely. Success demands perseverance, an unshakable belief that challenges are part of the journey, not the end of it. The strongest among us are not those who never fall, but those who never accept the fall as final. The real battle is not against external circumstances, but against our own self-doubt. When we adopt a mindset where defeat is not an option, we reframe every obstacle as a test of character. We no longer see hardship as unfair, but as necessary. We do not shrink in the face of difficulty, we expand. And in that expansion, in that relentless pursuit of progress despite the odds, we find something far more valuable than success. We find our true strength. Challenges are often seen as barriers to success, obstacles that stand in our way and prevent us from reaching our goals. But the truth is, adversity is not a roadblock. It is a teacher. It shapes us, refines us, and ultimately prepares us for greater things. The difference between those who grow and those who remain stagnant is not the presence or absence of hardship, but the way they respond to it. Every great achievement in history has been built on a foundation of struggle. The greatest minds, the strongest leaders, and the most resilient individuals have all faced moments of doubt, failure, and pain. What set them apart was not their ability to avoid hardship, but their willingness to embrace it as a necessary part of growth. They understood that the most valuable lessons are often the most difficult to learn. Consider the process of forging steel. It must be exposed to intense heat and pressure before it becomes strong and durable. Without that process, it remains weak and brittle. Human character is much the same. Without adversity, we remain untested, uncertain of our own strength, and unable to reach our full potential. It is through struggle that we develop resilience, discipline, and wisdom. There is an ancient philosophy that teaches us to welcome difficulty rather than fear it. The Stoics believed that every obstacle contains an opportunity, that within every hardship is a lesson waiting to be uncovered. When we view challenges through this lens, we stop seeing them as things to be avoided and start seeing them as necessary steps on the path to success. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? We begin to ask, what can I learn from this? Failure is one of life's greatest teachers. It exposes our weaknesses, reveals our blind spots, and forces us to confront the things we need to improve. Those who fear failure, who avoid taking risks because they do not want to face setbacks, ultimately limit their own growth. But those who see failure as a learning experience are the ones who push forward, who continue to evolve and adapt. And they recognize that every misstep is a lesson in disguise, a piece of information that will help them succeed in the future. Think of an inventor working tirelessly to create something groundbreaking. They may fail hundreds, even thousands of times before they succeed. But every failed attempt is not truly a failure. It is data. It is an experiment that reveals what does not work and brings them one step closer to discovering what does. If they allowed frustration to turn into surrender, they would never achieve anything. But by embracing failure as part of the process, they eventually reach breakthroughs that change the world. This principle applies far beyond science and innovation, in business, in relationships, in personal development. The ability to embrace adversity determines our long-term success. The most successful companies are those that have adapted in the face of challenges, learning from mistakes and continuously improving. The strongest relationships were those that have withstood difficulty, growing stronger through hardship rather than breaking under pressure. And the most fulfilled individuals are those who have faced struggle head-on, using it as a tool for self-discovery rather than a reason to give up. Growth is never comfortable. It requires stepping outside of what is familiar, pushing beyond what is easy, and enduring discomfort. But comfort does not lead to progress. If we never struggle, we never change. If we never face adversity, we never truly test our limits. The moments that challenge us the most are the moments that define us. They force us to make a choice. Either we give in to difficulty or we rise above it. There will always be moments when things do not go as planned, when obstacles seem overwhelming, when failure feels inevitable, but it is in those moments that we have the greatest opportunity to grow. When we stop fearing adversity and start embracing it, we unlock a level of strength and wisdom that we never knew we had. Struggle is not something to be avoided, it is something to be welcomed, because within every challenge lies the opportunity to become something greater than we were before. When we look at the people who have made the greatest impact in history, we find that they all had one thing in common: a deep sense of purpose. They did not simply work for money, status, or recognition. They were driven by something bigger than themselves, a mission, a cause, a belief that what they were doing mattered. This sense of purpose gave them the strength to endure hardships, the resilience to push through failure, and the courage to keep going when everything seemed impossible. Purpose is what separates those who quit from those who persevere. It is what allows people to endure suffering without losing their way. When we are deeply connected to a purpose, setbacks do not feel like the end. They feel like part of the journey. Without purpose, even the smallest obstacle can feel overwhelming. But with purpose, even the greatest challenges can be overcome. Think of a mountain climber attempting to reach the peak of Everest. The journey is brutal. Freezing temperatures, thin air, exhaustion. Many turn back, unable to push forward. But those who succeed are not simply climbing for adventure or personal achievement. They have a deeper reason for enduring the pain. Some do it to inspire others. Some do it to prove to themselves that they are capable of more than they ever imagined. Some do it to raise awareness for a cause they believe in. Their why is stronger than their suffering, and that is what keeps them moving forward. In our own lives, we must ask ourselves, why do we do what we do? Are we working towards something that truly matters to us, or are we simply going through the motions? Those who lack purpose often find themselves feeling lost, unmotivated, or frustrated by challenges. But those who have a strong sense of purpose see obstacles as temporary setbacks rather than insurmountable barriers. Businesses that thrive are built on a foundation of purpose. The most successful organizations are not simply chasing profits. They exist to solve problems, to serve people, to make a difference. When employees feel connected to a purpose, they work harder, innovate more, and stay committed even in difficult times. Without purpose, work becomes routine and people burn out. But with purpose, work becomes meaningful, and even the hardest tasks feel worthwhile. The same is true for personal growth. When we have a clear reason for our actions, discipline becomes easier. If someone is simply trying to lose weight for superficial reasons, they may give up at the first sign of difficulty. But if they are doing it to improve their health, to be there for their family, or to prove to themselves that they can change, they will keep going. The stronger the why, the stronger the will to persist. Purpose is also what allows people to endure pain and sacrifice. History is filled with examples of individuals who faced immense hardship but refused to give up because they believed in something greater than themselves. Activists who fought against injustice, scientists who dedicated their lives to groundbreaking discoveries, athletes who trained relentlessly despite countless failures. They all endured suffering because their purpose was stronger than their discomfort. But purpose is not something we simply stumble upon, it is something we cultivate. It requires introspection, a willingness to ask difficult questions, and the courage to pursue what truly matters. We must look beyond surface-level goals and ask ourselves, what impact do we want to have? What legacy do we want to leave behind? What drives us at our core? When we find those answers, we gain a source of energy that will carry us through any challenge. Life will always present obstacles. There will be moments of doubt, moments of exhaustion, moments when giving up seems like the easiest option. But when we are anchored in purpose, we find the strength to keep moving forward. We stop seeing struggles as reasons to quit and start seeing them as proof that we are on a path worth pursuing. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who give up is not talent or luck, it is purpose. Those who understand their why will always find a way, no matter how difficult the road. Because when we have something worth fighting for, defeat is never an option. Character is not built in moments of ease, but in moments of struggle. It is in the face of adversity that we discover who we truly are. When things are easy, when everything goes according to plan, it is simple to remain composed, disciplined, and confident. But it is when we are tested, when we are met with failure, resistance, and hardship, that our true nature is revealed. The strongest individuals are not those who have avoided struggle, but those who have faced it and emerged stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Greatness is never found in comfort. Comfort lulls us into complacency, making us believe that growth can happen without effort. But history has shown us time and time again that those who achieve the extraordinary are the ones who embrace discomfort, who are willing to push themselves beyond their limits, and who refuse to let hardship break them. Strength is not something we are born with. It is something we develop through discipline, perseverance, and an unwillingness to give up when things get hard. Imagine a blacksmith forging a sword. The raw metal, in its original state, is weak and unshaped. To transform it into something powerful and durable, it must be subjected to fire, hammered repeatedly, and refined through intense pressure. Only then does it become something strong, something capable of withstanding battle. Human character is much the same. Without struggle, we remain unshaped, untested, and fragile. But when we are put through the fire of adversity, when we endure challenges that push us to our limits, we are shaped into something stronger, something that can withstand whatever life throws at us. Many people spend their lives trying to avoid struggle. They seek the path of least resistance, hoping that they can achieve success without facing difficulty. But the reality is that struggle is not a detour on the road to success. It is the road to success. The very challenges we try to avoid are the ones that shape us into the people we are meant to become. If we never experience hardship, we never develop resilience. If we never fail, we never learn. If we never push ourselves beyond what is comfortable, we never realize our full potential. Consider the world's greatest leaders, thinkers, and innovators. None of them achieved greatness without first facing tremendous obstacles. Nelson Mandela endured 27 years in prison before leading a nation. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. J.K. Rowling was rejected by multiple publishers before her books became a global phenomenon. These individuals did not let failure define them. They did not allow setbacks to become the end of their stories. Instead, they let their struggles refine them, making them more determined, more disciplined, and more unstoppable. Discipline is one of the greatest lessons that struggle teaches us. When things are easy, discipline is not necessary. But when we are tired, when we are frustrated, when we feel like quitting, that is when discipline becomes essential. Discipline is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who give up too soon. It is the ability to keep going when motivation fades, to push forward even when success seems out of reach. Every challenge we face is an opportunity to develop discipline, to prove to ourselves that we are capable of more than we think. Integrity is another quality that is forged in the fire of struggle. It is easy to make the right choices when there is no pressure, when there are no consequences. But true integrity is tested in the moments when doing the right thing is difficult, when we are faced with ethical dilemmas, when we are tempted to take shortcuts, when we are pressured to compromise our values. Those are the moments that define who we truly are. It is in these moments that we must choose whether to stand firm or to take the easy way out. There is a reason why the strongest trees have the deepest roots. They have been tested by storms, by harsh winds, by changing seasons. Their roots have grown deep not in spite of struggle, but because of it. The same is true for us. Every challenge we face, every difficulty we endure, is an opportunity to strengthen our roots, to become more grounded, more resilient, and more unshakable. Some people view struggle as something to be feared, as a sign that they are failing. But those who understand the true nature of growth see struggle as a gift. They recognize that every hardship is an opportunity to develop strength, to build character, and to become better than they were before. They do not shrink in the face of adversity, they rise. The question is not whether we will face struggles in life. The question is how we will respond to them. Will we let them break us, or will we let them make us? Will we see them as barriers, or will we see them as opportunities? The strongest individuals are the ones who choose the latter. They do not fear struggle, they welcome it. Because they know that character is not given, it is earned. It is forged in the fire of adversity, shaped by the weight of challenges, and refined through the discipline of perseverance. In the end, it is not the easy moments that define us, it is the hard ones. It is the moments when everything is against us, when we feel like giving up, when the world tells us that we cannot continue, and yet we do. That is where true strength is found. That is where character is forged, and that is why defeat is never an option.